Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. Yes, today me and my dear friend Katarina, I'm calling her friend now because, we became friends, hopefully and luckily. We're here to talk about our collaboration. Yeah, we are really excited to talk about the details now. As Alina said, I live in Turkey and I work for Maya schools for, I don't know, 12 years or something like that. And for a few years, I'm working for First Foundation, which is a non-profit organization in Turkey. Yeah, that's all. The Maya Schools is based in Ankara, and I live in Ankara. Katarina, would you like to add something?
Yes, as Elena has also said, I'm the director of the Student Research Center in Tuttlingen. That's an extracurricular educational institution, and it's dedicated to promoting science and technology among children from elementary school through high schools. And I'm also a teacher at the Immanuel-Kant-Gymnasium. I'm teaching biology and techniques for the students from the 5th grade to the 12th grade. And in the Immanuel-Kant-Gymnasium, we focus on ESD and do a lot of projects there. So, I hand over to Gülşah.
Yes, let me tell you a bit about Maya Schools. Actually, Maya Schools has we have 10 campuses around Turkey, but this is the main campus. It is in Ankara, in İncek region in Ankara. And Maya Schools give importance to project-based learning. So, as Teacher First Foundation, we are collaborating with a lot of schools. Maya Schools is just one of them. The students are really eager and the teachers are really willing to, have some projects in STEM, also in sustainability. Yeah, you can see the school here. Also, the school is a member of Global Schools.
And this is a very big meeting point between Gülşah and the Immanuel-Kant-Gymnasium, the Maya schools. And we also, the Immanuel-Kant-Gymnasium Tuttlingen is project-based school, and we run about 20 projects concerning the ESD goals. And our students also participate in about 30 competitions in national and international ways. And we are also UNESCO ESD school, so we have access to a bright network to different schools all over the world, so to do some collaborations.
Yes. Yeah, once upon a time, I'm gonna start like this. How did we meet? How did this collaboration start? Let's talk about it a bit. It was in 2024, and we were in Portugal. It was in June. It was a summer day, let's say, and we came together for our concert team meeting. All of us, you can see the group here, the lovely photo. And there we just met with Katharina, and while we were talking, yeah, our fields are really different from each other. I had limited knowledge about science since 2 years ago, everyone. Now I have some knowledge thanks to Katharina and thanks to my colleagues here. Yeah, we said, what can we do? How can we just collaborate? And while we're talking about that, we said, why don't we have something online? And the idea came up in that way.
Yes, and then we wanted to do some experiments together, and we asked our children, what are you interested? And then we managed it to do some workshop sessions together. And what are our main goals? We want to elaborate an ESD project in which we combine language, also science, but also cultural exchange. This is very important for us, peer learning and interdisciplinary learning. And this is what we thought about and where we started at the beginning.
Yes. Yeah, how do we work? To be honest, yes, it needs a lot of preparation beforehand. Yes, let's be honest about this. First of all, we exchange some ideas not only me in Turkey and Maya schools also. I directly ran to my colleague who is a science teacher at Maya and I said, okay, we have an idea with Katarina. First, Betül Hoca, me and Katarina, we had an online meeting and we exchanged some ideas. Here, we just paid attention to our students' interests, their background, also their language level. There were a lot of criteria while talking about the experiments, of course, because the experiments were also aligned with our curricula, both of the schools. Yeah, we exchanged some ideas about the topic and the experiments. We gave ourselves and we gave each other some options. And then, yeah, it was time to set a date, which was a bit challenging because of, the time zones, because of the holiday times, because of when the school starts, when it ends. Yeah, it was one of the most challenging parts for us. And after that, we started to prepare the experiments in English because the common language, the target language was English. And after that, we had a short exchange if everything is available in the other country, because, sometimes the culture is different. Uh, some things may be different in every country. So we said, okay, let's guarantee that we all have that material in our country. And after that, of course, there were two groups. We did it like this. For example, first, Germany was the presenting group and Turkey was the experimenting group. So if we are the presenting group, of course, we needed to choose some students who will present, and we needed to train them before presentation. And if we are the experimenting group, we need to prepare the class about the vocabulary, about the structure, organizing the materials, organizing the room. I remember our first time from Germany, lovely sixth and seventh graders were presenting, and in Türkiye, first graders were experimenting. Katharina, we were really brave, right? Starting with the first graders, it was a brave move.
Yes, but your first graders are better in English in some ways than our sixth graders because you have much more English lessons in your
Yes,
school.
yes, but still, they are 6-year-old students, they are children. And we did that like this. We arranged an evening time, and after that, our students just went home. We said we just sent some letters to the parents. You can see the examples. We shared these letters online with the parents. I wrote one for Katarina, and Katarina wrote one for Maya schools for us. And we let them know, okay, something is cooking here, and you are also invited.
Yes, and then we also did short presentation where we invited the pupils with a short video, and
Yeah.
we showed it to the pupils, and they were very engaged. So they really wanted to be part of this project, and then we started with our first experiment. It was the tanker accident, and there where Germany was the presenting group. And what we did was we selected two sixth graders from Germany, and they were presenting the experiment. But what we wanted to do is we want to give it a frame for the ESD and for meaningful learning. So we had a little story about Marie and Emre, and they walked along the beach and they discovered that there was a tanker accident. And they discussed if there's any problem about pollution or not. And with the experiments, the little children could figure out if there is a problem or not, and who of the two students is right with the argumentation. And the sixth graders from Germany, they presented the problem, and then they help the younger kids to do the experiment together. So they said, okay, now put that there, and then this and this and this. So the younger ones, they didn't see the paper you see on the right, but they listened to the students and they worked with them together, could ask questions if something went wrong. And then they started like little science discussions, and then they found out what happened. So they said what they can see and what they think about the experiment. And then after that, because our sixth graders are not as keen as the Turkish ones, we had two ninth graders and they stepped in for the discussion. So the ninth graders helped to explain the experiment and also go on with further questions so that they can answer the question of the younger ones. And Gülşah, this was in the first experiment, Gülşah collected the question of the younger ones, and then we tried to collect them, and then we answered them in a structured way. And it was
Yes.
very nice to see, because you can see it here, because everybody was very excited and they were very engaged, and they wanted to show the little ones that they can speak English and they can express themselves, and this was very, very nice to see.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Thank you so much for sharing the details, Katharina. I want to add a small detail here, if it's okay for you.
Okay.
Since the students were first graders, of course, before the experiment, we had a meeting with the teachers, with the responsible teachers, and we said, can you please help us to make our students ready for the experiment in terms of vocabulary, in terms of structure, in terms of, the flow of the meeting and everything. So the students had some idea before the experiment in terms of, yes, vocabulary, structure, and the flow.
Yes, and after that, the Turkish crew was on the site, and we did some experiments about bionics. This was about how to use resources while looking at the nature and using the observation of the nature to do some technical stuff. And there, the Turkish team, Gülşah, which graders presented?
They were sixth graders then.
Mhm.
And we did something like this at my schools. In middle school, students specialize in different fields. For example, some students may say, I want to specialize in English. The other may say, I want to specialize in art. And 2 hours a week, they just attend the related lessons if they want to specialize in that lesson or that field. We don't want to, we don't see them as lessons, but we see them as clubs, if I may say so. So while picking the students from Türkiye, we paid attention to this. We tried to pick a student from the science club and another student from the language club so that they can assist each other during the experiment. So I think it went well, right, Katharina?
Yeah, it did
Yeah.
really. And our pupils, they always ask, even now, can we repeat this and can we
Yes.
go on? And yes, and then we did another thing about health and nutrition check. What can we say, where is a lot of fat inside and sugar? And we did some preparation. This was also the Turkish team that was running this session. And the last session we did for now, this was our fourth session, was the topic of physics and digitalization. It was building a hologram projector and finding out how this works. And this was also a very nice section because our pupils, they build it with them together, and then they could find out how it works at home. Yes, this is what we did
Yes.
for them.
Yeah, also, yeah, the other side. There are, of course, some aspects to consider. As I said before, there is a time zone difference, and it may be a challenging problem. I don't want to call it a problem, but it might be challenging to arrange sometimes. And I remember it was which project was it? Bionics. During the
Yeah.
Bionics project, for example, the students in Turkey connected from the lab, but the lab was really downstairs, so the internet connection was really weak. So it caused us some problems at the beginning of the experiment, I remember. Yeah, time slots in school. In Germany, there are a lot of holiday times, everyone. Turkey, yes, it's the same. In Turkey, we have also vacations. So the biggest problem here is time is really different. Vacation times are different, so it caused the problem from time to time and different educational language levels, of course. At my schools, the students have a lot of hours of English during the week, but I think we could manage that, right, Katarina? The
Yes, of
students were
course.
really clear to each other, their language level. They just found a way to understand each other. So we didn't have a huge problem here.
No, and our sixth graders love your first and second graders.
Yes, I
Really,
know, I know.
they were so cute, and it was very nice. And for our sixth graders, it's not so hard to speak with younger ones than with the same age, because they are
Mhm.
very shy to do this with the same age group, and it was very great that they had the younger ones. So,
Yes,
Goethe, do you want
exactly.
to? Or, yes.
Sorry, Katarina.
Uh, oh, sorry. Will you go on, or shall I?
Of course I can, however you like.
So, do you see
So,
the conference? Yes.
yes. Do you think that's all? It's not. We had a conference, STEM PD conference in Istanbul in 2025 in November. And before the conference, Katarina had a crazy idea and she said, Gusha, why don't we just bring our students to the conference? I said, wow, this is just a good idea, great idea, because they saw each other online most of the time, several times, but they didn't, see each other face to face before. So we said, this is a great idea, but we need to have something. If they're gonna meet each other, let's do something. Let's do something like a workshop. Okay, and the students from Germany, they were high schoolers, and the students from Maya, they were middle schoolers. They met in Istanbul. I remember a moment. Germany came to Istanbul one night before the students from Turkey because they were coming from Ankara. And Katarina, I remember in the hotel we were talking about some cables, right? Connection
Yeah.
cables.
Yeah.
And Katarina said, okay, we don't have them. And I said, okay, relax. We're going to deal with it. I just gave a call to our students and they say, teacher, of course we can find it. If we don't have it at school, we can just go to the shopping mall and we can buy it. We can do it for you. That was an amazing moment, because they were really eager to, excited to assist each other. They were really eager to collaborate. I don't know. That moment was really special for me.
Yes, and then we did a workshop together
Yeah.
concerning climate change. And then the German team, they started with some experiments concerning the rise of the sea level. And we give some advice to different teachers and scientists. And after that, the Turkish team, we hand over to the Turkish team, and they did some practical stuff how to avoid that there is a flood for the houses, and we built flood barriers with the teachers and the scientists. And so we saw that the real life that the houses are threatened by the rising of the sea level can be mixed together in experimental way.
Yes.
Yes, here you can see also some pictures, and Lorenz here, he did some interviews with your pupils from Maya school, and they had a lot of fun together. So it's not only a digital collaboration, but they also met in real life. And for us, it's not only a cooperation at the moment, it's a story of becoming citizens from all over the world with friends, and while taking care of nature and the environment, because this is very important for our two schools and also for our pupils.
Yes. I remember I
Also,
remember the tour that we took in Istanbul with all of our students. And also it was a good opportunity for cultural exchange. I remember the conversations that they had, the questions uh, and answers, and the interaction between them was really amazing.
and our students know now how to find out which is real gold.
And now I know how to cook lentil with what was the special name, Katharina? I,
Spätzle.
yes, we learned from each other, everybody. Not only, science and language, yes, of course, but also during, while doing this, yeah, we built something else. I remember, I just believe this.
Yes. So we are
So, if you have some further questions or comments, please feel free to reach us. These are our email addresses. And also, I may say that we are always excited to, eager to, willing to have collaboration with different organizations from different countries. If you have some ideas, please share with us. We are always here. Thank you so much.
thank
Oh, thank you.